Hi, I'm Pablo Fernicola, Group Manager at Microsoft. We just released a add-in for Word 2007 yesterday that is focused on editing and authoring articles for the scientific and technical market. And I wanted to take this opportunity to give you an insight into some of the capabilities of the add-in, as well as how it ties with Open XML. When we look at the way that people do publishing today, usually at the archival point, especially for biology and medicine, they convert their files to an XML format that was defined by the National Library of Medicine. So they've defined 4 different types of DTD. One DTD specifically for archival into what's called the PubMed Central, which is the largest archive for biology and medicine articles. So as many of the authors use Word as part of their authoring process for the articles, we wanted to be able to provide them with tools to both make it easier to get the articles through the authoring process, but also to allow journals to be able to provide authors with information and a framework for them to have easier time when writing their articles. And at the last step, being able to take that Word file that they created and convert it into the XML used by the National Library of Medicine. One interesting aspect is until Open XML and Word 2007 came around, it would have been very hard to do this. The way that people provide templates to authors today is usually based on styles. So they will color different parts of their article with different styles to signify different sections. And that was a very ad hoc and very fragile way of doing this, but it was the best way that people had before. With the advent of Open XML, we can actually define different structural parts within the document so that it's more robust when you want to do the conversion to another XML format, but it also provides more structure for the author and more guidance as to where they should provide the information. So the journals take advantage of templates. These templates are Open XML documents. Those Open XML documents get open in Word. The author is able to understand what they need to fill in, and before the article is submitted to a journal, one can actually programmatically walk the article and be able to ensure that the different sections that are required are part of the article, and that no other sections that are not allowed are included as part of the article that's going to be submitted. So you are able to do more upfront validation and also provide a better experience for the authors. We actually looked at 3 different features in Open XML that ended up being key in the development of this add-in. One of them is the ability to have custom schemas. This allows you to insert new XML elements within the document. As you can see, the schema defined by the National Library of Medicine certainly has some elements that are not part of the Open XML format. As one would expect, different formats have different emphasis. So through the use of custom schema, one is able to insert new elements within the document that allows the end user, the author, to fill in information, and those get preserved and converted when converted to the other XML format. The second functionality that we used was the ability to have custom XML as part of the file itself. One of the key attributes of a NLM DTD file is that it has a lot of metadata. This is additional data that goes beyond what the author enters sort of in the body of the paper. And it provides information about the authors, provides information about the subject being covered on the paper, provides information about the article, such as when it was published or what the copyright or licenses are, as well as information about the journal where the article is going to appear in. So now we're going to go through just a quick few examples just to give you an idea of what kind of capability and what kind of UI we have. One note of warning, this add-in is a technology preview, so it should not be used for production purposes, but it's mainly for evaluation and for us to be able to gather your feedback and requirements on the road for us to be able to release this as a 1.0 version. The first thing we're going to look at is how we get started with a document. So likely we received or downloaded a template from one of the journals where you want to submit your article to. So we'll just go to the new document and open a create a new document from a template. Right away we get to see some of the features of the add-in, in that the document that appears has a bunch of sections that the journal wants me to fill in, and I'm just able to click, for example, and enter the title, and I can also go through the different sections, for example the abstract, and start entering information. Now, the ability to do this is totally reliant on being able to have custom schema elements. So we're able to have these sections within the document that provide a lot more structure for the author, and provide a way for the journals, for the editors of the journals, to be able to communicate to the authors what kind of information they need. So for example, in this abstract, I can go ahead and do the usual word authoring that I would in a normal paper. So I'll go ahead and introduce a table, and we'll go ahead and enter some stylized text. In this case, we'll go ahead and make some italic. We'll go ahead and make some other things bold, and we'll put an underlined. So now I went ahead and filled in, let's say that I filled in the rest of the content for my paper. I'm able to go to the Office menu and say Save as NLM format, and this will do the conversion from the Open XML content to the NLM format, which is also obviously in XML. One of the things that we did in implementation was to use the open packaging conventions so that we can combine the XML file that is going to be archived with any other content that comes along from the authoring. So for example, the figures or any other custom data can be preserved into a single file. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the file that was generated. We'll go and change it to a zip file, and we'll go into the content folder and go ahead and open the XML that was generated. As we can see, the title and all the other metadata that is related to the article is preserved, as well as things like the table and the stylistic aspects of bold, italic, underline, all get preserved. And here are the other sections that we did not fill in, like the introduction, reports, and conclusions that were part of the template that was provided by the journal. Earlier I mentioned providing the ability to do more things from the point of view of a journal editor. And here on the right panel, we can see some of those things being exposed on this current technology preview of the add-in, where in this case, the template also contains keywords so that the author is able to tag the article that they're working in with the relevant keywords for the subject that they're covering. Also, the author is able to enter additional information about themselves, like corresponding information, or provide footnotes for themselves or the other authors of the paper. The other key element of the add-in is any sections that were provided as part of the template are exposed in a custom ribbon as part of the Word UI, where the author can go and select and introduce those sections, as well as anything else that's an optional section that they can introduce within either standalone or within other sections. So we just finished looking at how do we create a document and then how we save it into the NLM format. Another thing that you can do with the add-in is being able to import a existing XML format and then be able to edit that within Word. Both the content and the metadata all becomes editable within the Word UI. So in this case, we open an existing file that we've downloaded from the PubMed Central repository, and now it's being converted by Word through the add-in, and now we're able to see all the different sections, and if we wanted to, we would be able to edit and either save it back as a docx file or save it back out as an NLM XML file. As we can see, all the different sections were imported as sections, so there is structure to the content. And if we scroll down the document, we'll find not only style things like italics and underlines, but also we'll find that the references are preserved and imported into the citation manager that's part of Word 2007, as well as things like sections and also tables, and also any other elements that are part of the NLM format. Here we have some tables.